Today we're going to review for our upcoming quiz on proportional relationships. You will take that quiz tomorrow. Since this is not in your packet, you might want to take out an extra sheet of paper, and a calculator would be very handy. So let's begin. Our goal is I can decide whether a table represents a proportional or non-proportional relationship. So this question asks, is this table proportional or non-proportional? And they're going to ask us to prove our answer. And if you recall, we have to take the y values that were given divided by the x values. And if they're asking us whether it's proportional or non-proportional, we have to use all of them to see if they are indeed the same. So I'm going to start with 4 divided by 2, and that is 2. Then my next y value is 6 divided by 3, and that is 2. So what is the result after you take the third y value divided by the third x value? The result is 3. So does this tell us whether this table is proportional or non-proportional? This is a non-proportional table, and we proved it by showing our y to x ratios. The first time that one of these did not match or was not constant, that meant that this was a non-proportional table. If it's proportional, all of these will be the same. So we didn't even have to use the fourth one. So now let's try this again. Is this table proportional or non-proportional? Prove your answer. So what should we do first in order to start proving proportionality? Once again, we should take our y values over our x values. And the first one is 7 divided by 2. And on your calculator, that would give you 3.5. So I'd like you to continue, pause the video, and tell me if this is a proportional or non-proportional relationship. This is a proportional relationship, and the proof is that all of the x to y ratios are the same. In fact, this is actually also called a unit rate. That would be 3.5 for 1. So you notice that I did all 4 of them. I had to keep on going into the last ratio to make sure even this last one was the same. That's how we prove whether it's proportional or non-proportional. When we get to one that's different, then we can stop. Otherwise, we keep going. So now let's go on to our next goal. This says I can identify the constant of proportionality, which is also known as the unit rate or also known as the k-value, given a proportional table. So they're telling us that this table is indeed proportional. So now it says, based on this table, what is the unit rate? So let's look at what we're given. We're given that the x values are the number of minutes, and we're given that the y values are number of words typed. So based on the table, what is the unit rate? Well, since they said it's proportional, we could choose any one of the x to y values. So I'm going to just randomly pick, let's say, this one. So I would say 126 divided by 3. You could have picked a different set of x, y values, and since it's proportional, we should get the same answer. What is the unit rate? If you said 42, you are correct. In fact, that brings us to this point. Because it's a proportional table, when they give you 1 with a number and they tell you it's a proportional table, then the y value is actually the unit rate because it's paired up for 1. And what it's saying is there's 42 words a minute for 1, and that's what a unit rate is. So based on the information in this table, what does a unit rate mean given what they've told us in the table? So this is 42 words typed in 1 minute, and this table told us what the y values were and what the x values were. Again, the number that we have is the y value compared to the x value. Now let's move on. Our next goal, I can write an equation based on a proportional table and use the equation to answer questions based on this relationship. So it says using the unit rate, meaning what we just found, write an equation in y equals kx form for this table. Well, we just found the unit rate, which is also called the constant of proportionality, which is also called the k value. So we're going to replace k with our number 42, and we're just going to drop down y equals 42, and we're going to drop down the x. This is the equation that matches this table. So it says use the equation to complete the table. In other words, how many words could be typed in 15 minutes? So I'm supposed to use this equation. What variable do you think I can replace with what they gave me? The number on the table, 15 minutes. If you said it was the x variable, you're correct. And if you look, the x column, 15 is in the x column, and it mentions minutes. So there's two ways we can figure that out. So our equation would look like this. We would take 42 times 15. And so y equals what? If you said 630, you're correct. Final question, is 630 what? What are we talking about? If you said words typed, you're correct. Y equals 630. So Y is 630 words typed in 15 minutes. So now let's look at one more table. These are the kind of questions you're going to answer on the quiz. So now we have a new table, and it says number of hours and amount of miles traveled. So based on this table, what is the unit rate? So as I look at this table, we're not given 1 as an x value, so we can't say this is a unit rate. We're going to have to find the unit rate by doing what? We're going to have to choose a y over an x value. And because these are proportional tables, it said so at the beginning, we can just choose any y over its matching x. So you can choose whichever one you think is easiest. I'm going to choose the first one. So based on this, what is the unit rate? If you had 57 after you divided 114 divided by 2, you are correct. Based on the information given in this table, what does this unit rate mean? This unit rate means 57 miles traveled, that's what y is talking about, per hour. And the x is talking about the number of hours. So now let's move on. Using the unit rate, write an equation in y equals kx form for this table. So this should be, once again, we call this number the k value. So y equals 57x. And now it asks you to use the equation to complete the table. So we're looking for the y value for this matching x value. What will the equation look like if we use the information that we have to complete the table? Well, we're given the x value. So if I use this equation, y equals 57x, I know that x is now 11, using the information from this table. And so y equals 627. What does 627 mean? Well, we just found the y value that matches 111. So 627 would go in this y column, and my label for my table helps me decide that 627 is referring to the amount of miles. So 627 miles traveled in 11 hours. Hope this review was helpful, and we will take our quiz tomorrow. Thank you.